Hello, everybody. My name is Maurice Hutchinson. This is the Module 8 assignment for the Addiction Advanced Psychology Skills class. I'm going to be talking about the Gelsut therapy, about the applying the counseling skills, strategies, and approaches from that particular therapy. Um, and also, I'll be talking about the third set. This will be the third session that I had with Miss D that you heard about from Module 7 and Module 6. Okay? Basically, this type of therapy, the Gilsart therapy, is consists of the following skills, strategies, and approaches. First, it provides assistance to clients to understand his or her present situation rather than her past experiences. Sometimes our mind can go back sometimes on certain circumstances of what we've been through. But this particular therapy is pretty much focused on what is going on now, not what happened in 1985 or 1990, what has happened presently in 2008 or 2017. The second one was learning how to recognize and correct unhealthy, negative, maladaptive behaviors and with clients. Sometimes we have people who have an addictions where they've had it for so long, their thinking is out of whack, their mind is distorted, they don't know how to think, they don't know how to reason, they don't know how to cope. But this particular therapy will show, once the therapist is involved, can ask certain questions to the client based on that current experience and what they're experiencing now from that experience and what happened during that time, and then the therapist can observe the client's behavior, body language, mood swings, if any, during that time, and provide positive, healthy ways to rebuild their thinking, their reasoning, and how they conduct their self inside and outside their home. The third one is learning how to develop positive, healthy behavior and thought patterns. And that's what I just mentioned, that some of these examples could be looking in the mirror and saying, I'm beautiful today, I'm smart, I'm intelligent. And until that sinks in their mind and their psyche to where they know that's who they are, without somebody having to tell them that, then they begin to develop their self-efficacy will increase from being low to medium to high to where they think positive about themselves, not being proud as a peacock, but taking pride of who they are and not having to have drugs and alcohol to define them or to make them feel good. The Gilsart therapy was found by Fritz Perls. In addition, the therapist will ask the following questions to the client. Number one, how does this current experience make you feel? Number two, what is going on in your mind about that experience? So by the therapist asking those two questions, the therapist is showing the client how to think about the situation and respond to it in a timely manner. As a result, the therapist can explain to the client of his or her behavior towards that experience. So by them doing that, it's going to help the client to develop healthy behavior patterns. So for example, if the client was upset and angry for what has happened, somebody stole $50 from them, and it made them so mad to where they were overboard, upset. The therapist can show them how to calm down, how to balance their anger, how to look at the situation at a better angle or a better perspective to say, hey, you might have lost the $50, but that's not the end of the world. We all lose things, and we have to learn from how we have to protect our funds. And then the client can begin to feel a little bit better, so he or she won't feel like that was the forbidden sin, quote unquote, that they have done to make them feel less of a person. Then during this, like I said, the Gilsart therapy, I applied that with Miss D. Miss D is the one I told you from Module 6 and 7. I applied that therapy with her. So I began the therapy by saying, good day, how are you? Miss D said, I'm okay, not too bad. I said, well, good to hear that. You look very well and happy today. She said, thank you. I said, Miss D, this is going to be our third session. And I told her that This session will consist of the Gelsalt therapy for your addiction. Is that okay? She asked me, what is that? What is Gelsalt therapy? And I explained to her that this therapy is the type of therapy that helps involving and for you to reacting to questions that had led up to your addiction. Your addiction that you went through. She said, I'm cool with that. I said, great, let's get started. So the first scenario was I told her, think about the time you drunk a wine cooler. She said, okay. She said I was about 20. She was about 20 years old with her boyfriend, and they had a great time. They were in love, and while she was at his house, he pressured her to make her feel like she should drink the wine cooler. At first, she said, no, I'm not going to drink it, but then she turned around and did it. And because she was so in love with him, she didn't want to feel bad or feel less of a person by refusing the wine cooler. So she went ahead and drank it. But when she drank it, she became very upset with herself for doing that. So while she was telling me this, I was observing her behavior. She started getting red. She started getting upset. Then her emotion changed. She became sad about it. She began to cry. And she told me, she said, I always regret drinking that wine cooler because it made her feel less of a person. She felt very depressed. She felt like no one would ever love her again. I mean, it really affected her mentally, psychologically, emotionally, across the board. So I told her, thank you for sharing that story with me. And I told her, you are not less of a person. And it wasn't your fault. You were young. You were in love. So you felt like because that was your lover, y'all were together, you didn't want anything to mess up the relationship at that time, and you were young. So she said that she appreciated it. And I told her, a lot of people, we all made mistakes in life. We ain't perfect. But I wanted her to be able to discuss that so that she can get the closure she needed to overcome the wine cooler addiction. So she said, thank you for sharing with me. It really means a lot. Come to find out, she told me that she has never told no one that she is in her mid-50s. So this has been a secret that she has kept deep in her heart for over 30 years. I told her, you're more than welcome. And I told her, there's nothing wrong with shedding tears because it's very therapeutical for the soul. I've learned that from my own personal experience. And she said, wow, I didn't know that. She said, I feel a lot better from getting that off of my chest. And she said like I said, she never told anyone about this situation. I told her, great. I'm glad that it made you happy. Again, you are progressing on your road of recovery. What I tend to accomplish with the client is a few things. First, I want her to feel emotionally, psychologically, mentally, physically whole, quote unquote, from her first experience with the wine cooler. By doing so, I want her to find closure and to release all the past emotions from that experience of the wine cooler. That way, that experience does not torment her. I can't even imagine. That's 30 years. I ain't even tell nobody. Tormenting her for the rest of her life. The positive counseling aspects of therapy used in this week. Number one, teaching my client how to remove and release all past negative thoughts and memories through reenactment. And the reenactment stage is basically telling, giving her a scenario, how she responds to that situation, and if it's negative, how to change that negative into a positive. 2, observing her behavior responses, like I just said, and providing helpful avenues that will help her become a better person. Lastly, Miss D, the client that I had, this was the third session, she was relieved of the past experience that she never told anyone about the wine cooler situation. She thanked me for the great services that I provided for her. She informed me that after those 3 sessions, it was enough for her to begin to live her life, have joy, have peace, and can live productively as a whole. And now she's updated me yesterday informing me that now she does not even have a desire to even want to drink wine coolers anymore. She hasn't bought any in the past week or so. So it just shows you that this person took the advice, ran with it, opened her heart up, received the healing and the restoration she needed to be a better person. Again, my name is Maurice Hutchinson. Thank you for listening to this video, and God bless.